Is Honkai Star Rail gonna be getting PvP in the near future or in the future at all? Let's dive into it. Before we move on, guys, I'd appreciate it if you guys subscribe to the channel and like the video if you like the video. So we all know that Honkai Star Rail is a turn-based game. That is to no surprise to anyone at this point. And if you're new to the game and you're just hearing about it, yes, it is a turn-based game, and it's created by yours truly, Hoyoverse, known for making the most quality games on the market up to date. And I've been playing this game, guys. I've got the closed beta and I've been streaming it, so I would appreciate it if you guys stop by the stream and say what's up and see the game for yourselves. The game is fantastic, guys. I'm enjoying every part of it. I've already covered a lot of the gameplay stuff, and I'm also planning on covering even more stuff on the new units that come out and the new 5 stars and just a bunch of more things. Now, the big question that everybody has on their mind, guys, is will Honkai Star Rail have PvP? And that's kind of a hard question to answer, but here are some of the thoughts and opinions that I have for that. So now that Hoyoverse is going into this turn-based genre with their first turn-based title in Honkai Star Rail, when it comes to turn-based game, guys, there is something that most of the time, not all the times, right, but like 90% of the times in these types of games, there usually is something that players look forward towards in the end game. I'm not saying it's something I look forward to or not. I'm just stating in general what the general audience usually expects from these games, and that is PvP. Now, there's a few forms of PvP that usually get implemented in these turn-based kind of games. First and foremost, they do the basic arena PvP. Well, it's not really PvP because player PvP stands for player versus player. It's more like a PvC, where you're the player versus the computer, but you're going against the other player's units. And you guys match up against each other, and because it's computer generated, you can go ahead and either auto battle it, and you can go ahead and manual battle it and try to win and get points and try to climb the ladder that way, so you guys can go ahead and get those sweet rewards, which is another plus because players really like having that option in PvP so they can get rewards, especially after you've done everything in the beginning of the gacha. Gacha games start getting a little bit harder in getting these in-game currencies, just because that's just how it is. The gaming companies first give you a bunch of stuff to help you out in the beginning, but as you go on and get stronger, it becomes more of a grindy type of play style kind of a thing, right? Where you have to grind out every day to get those in-game currencies, and PvP was actually one of those forms of getting those in-game currency. And the good thing about PvP, right, is that depending on how high you climbed in that ladder, you will actually get compensated even more, which is great, which means more currency, and it gets rewarded, and the player that put in a lot more time and a lot more effort will get rewarded, right? But that's not always the case. Sometimes, you know, you do have those whales, right, where they just spend and just get really strong. But free-to-play players, though, when it comes to games like this, it's very gear dependent as well. But that's neither here nor there, but there is definitely a big solid group of people that do enjoy this type of playstyle, and it's also something to give them look forward towards in the end game as well, especially while they're waiting for that new event to come out, because events only come out every so often in the gacha games, right? So they usually, the cycle is they'll go in, they'll make an event, they come out with the event, you do the event, then there's a waiting period where you go back in and you go into grinding either stronger gear, or you can go into PvP and also climb the ladder so you can get more resources, which in turn helps out with your gacha pulls in general, right, with the weapon banner or the character or whatever the game it is that you're playing. And the other popular form of PvP, guys, is called real-time arena, formerly known as RTA. Now, in this type of format, guys, you actually do get to play against real players in real time, hence why it's called real-time arena. These battles are actually pretty exciting because, you know, you're not going against a bot or a computer, which honestly is my preferred style of play if I do decide to do PvP. I just find it more exciting. I find it that it becomes more skillful and stuff, and you just never know what kind of team comps and combinations you'll bump into that other players come up with themselves, which is very nice. And then the last form of PvP, guys, is something where it's called guild battles, where people go in a guild kind of a format where you get a bunch of people in a group and you guys go head to head with other guilds in order so you can get points and stuff. But yeah, these are definitely the three forms of PvP that a lot of these games use nowadays. Now, Hoyoverse has two options. They can either decide to stick with this format that they have now, which is very PvE oriented, which a lot of their games, if not all their games, are PvE oriented. Now, this is again not a good or bad thing, because there's a group of people that always like a certain type of game mode more than the others, right? There's some people that prefer PvP, there's some people that prefer PvE, but MiHoYo has always gravitated more towards the PvE side of things, which can lead more into a like relaxing kind of style of gameplay as well, that a lot of people appreciate because it's just more laid back. But here's the thing, I believe that having that PvP option isn't a bad idea, because it gives the players that like to do it an option to do it, and the players that don't like to do it, they don't have to do it, right? So that's something that Hoyoverse is going to have to determine on what they're going to want to do in Honkai Star Rail. Currently, I am still playing through the game, but as of all the research I have done lately in the final closed beta that I've been testing, or that I've seen people play, there is currently no PvP. A lot of people are saying that they would appreciate for them to have PvP, especially since it is a turn-based game. But again, the decision is all on Hoyoverse, and depending on what player experience they want the players to have. They've been very vocal about it in some of their games, where they just like the PvE and the relaxing side of things for the players. But even if they do decide to just do PvE right now, there's no telling that they will implement PvP in the future, because if there's a game that is very easy to implement PvP, it is turn-based games compared to other action RPG games out there, because it's a lot cleaner looking, it's a lot easier, and it's not too hard to come up with the battle system. It's not as clunky. Everything is already set in place. But there's one issue. The issue is they might have to go back in their systems and actually maybe switch some things around if they do come out with a strict PvP game mode, or they might have their own twists and turns to their own unique style of PvP that they want to implement, right? Hoyoverse always makes great quality games and with their own unique touches, and they always make them very fun, right? At its core, very, very fun. So I'm pretty sure if they do decide to go with this, they will come out with their own fun formula for their PvP matches. And what I wanted to say is the main issue is their ultimates, as he's doing right here, Arlan. What they did in this game is very unique to other PvP games as well. Like I said, Hoyoverse is a very unique company that make things fun and make things their way, but it works really, really well. And the mechanic that they have is because you're able to do your ult at any given moment during your turn, you can essentially skip the turn meter, which is something that is extremely important in the turn-based game genre, PvP or PvE, but it's just as important in PvP too, if not more, because I can see a lot of mayhem and stuff, because what if the team just basically builds energy regeneration in order for them to just get ultimates so they can go ahead and nuke the entire team and your team's done, right? And never have a chance to go. So that's something that they might have to overhaul if they do the PvP game mode. So for example, if they do come out with the mode, people go into that game mode. When you're in that game mode, you exclusively, just for that game mode, take away the ability to use your ultimate to be able to skip the line, and only use the ultimates when it's that player's turn, to make it a little bit more fair. But again, Hoyoverse can come up with unique things like they always come up with, to make things a lot more fun and in their own unique style. But yeah guys, right now I see Hoyoverse just sticking with their PvE for now, and maybe they'll consider it in the future, because there's a lot of games in the market that have a successful fan base that love their PvP in their turn-based games that they always look forward to, right? So if they're able to capture that, they'll capture that audience plus their PvE fan base that they've always been able to garner throughout all their years. But yeah guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys think they'll come out with PvP or not? I'm interested in hearing what you guys think, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's your boy Jada. I'm out. Peace.